my friend, it's Pat Sloan here. So today we are back on track with the Liberty Town Quilt Along. I have done the Liberty of London building, and also we're going to talk about the 100 quilt blocks. Going to talk about some fabric and show you 3 blocks of mine. So before we do that, today is casserole day. If you have a great casserole recipe, or you happen to have a quilt with a casserole on it somehow, like, you know, maybe like the casserole containers, but you can go to my fireside chat group at Facebook and share your recipes. I personally am not a casserole person. I don't care for them. I didn't grow up with them. Maybe that's why. But I know that they're a fan favorite. They're a really big favorite of many, many people. So that'd be fun to see what your favorites are. Okay, for Liberty of London, I needed to, wait, I have to show you this, my pretty, I got this for myself. I need a little pink spring feel here in the studio, so yeah, one to show you. Okay, so I did filmed segments, and we're going to show them together, and then I'm going to break in between the different ones, some of them, to talk, because it was just easier to film it as I was working along over a period of time. So first, let's look at kind of getting the fabric brought down to a smaller working size for the London town. So I put the blocks up in approximately where they are. It's pretty close. There's still a lot to fill in. A bunch of little ones, and I think that it gets it tightened up just a little bit there. But I wanted them up there while I go through the basket and figure out what I cull down. I mean, I have too many options in the basket, and it's getting a bit difficult to weed through them, and I don't need that many options. So the basket is here. It's, well, you know, it's one of my bins, and it's like filled twice as much, which is crazy. This is the Ferris wheel down here, the eye. So that's the fabric for that. So what I need to do here is I'm going to pull this all out, and then, you know, I've got that up there on the wall now, which is why you should all have a design wall, so you can view things while you're working at your table. And I will take, and some of this stuff will just go and get sorted back into, you know, filed back into drawers. And I'll get out my Liberty of London Tanalon box. I have a box for all of this because, you know, someday I'm going to do a quilt with just this, just the Tanalons. Gorgeous, gorgeous. These are some of the new pieces that I was sent. This is for like hopefully backing. So let me just scroll this up a little bit. We don't need to be so dang close. Okay, so we'll put that over here, and because I don't need those. So I've got this navies and light blues over here, and anything that is red and navy, I'll keep out right now. So that's what I'm going to do, is just kind of go through here, and I don't really need, there's some tan. I'm going to keep this thing with this got the light and the tan. These are the Liberty of London lawns, Tanalons. So those have got, like, this has got kind of a red, white, and blue feel. I mean, there just might be a place like in one of the flags that I use something like that, or maybe just a little bit in one of the outside of the spokes or the umbrella. Okay, so through here, like, I'm not sure any of these are going to be quite big enough, because particularly like if I need, I basically need just reds and navies. And so, like, this is orange, so that's beautiful, but it's not quite the right shade. These are all just so gorgeous, and they will definitely go into my future quilt. My future quilt, which will have all the Tanalons. I know I keep saying that because I keep thinking, oh, that it's going to be so fun to do. So, oh, there's some, what is it? Is that some red? That one's a little orangey, but that's, yeah, they're just not red enough. That's kind of interesting. I'm going to keep that one out just in case it might make like a little portion. Oh, there's a tan. Okay, that goldy tan. That's a good color. Oh, there's a red. I thought I saw red go by. None of these are big pieces. Oh, here, it's even bigger than that. So, okay, so, oh, there we go. So that's a decent size. I can probably, I don't know that I could get on the flag all the outer parts, but on the sort of the cross, I could do the cross. And I definitely couldn't do the bust. I'm going to need a bigger piece to do the bust parts. Okay, so I found actually more of this, which is great. I don't know if that's going to be able to get used in there, but okay, so we've got that stack here. I had bought a bunch of the sort of circus type, or the, you know, fair type, you know, it's got teacups and elephants, and just, they're fabulous, the Jubilee, for the backing. So it might be a mix of this and then the one that I was sent, something like that. And then I had some reds that were pulled and some navies that were pulled, and I'm going to keep all those out. This was also sent pinks, and I think at this point, pink is not going to, I'm not going to need pink anymore. And so I'm just going to leave that on the side. I have this whole stack that, whoops, this was, these are, now what's in here, none of this is the Tanalon. Everything that's in here now are regular quilting cottons. They are either Tilda, like this is, or they are licensed to Riley Blake to be, their Liberty designs put on regular quilting cotton versus the Tanalon background, you know, the Tanalon style fabric. They're just regular quilting cottons. This particular group was called the Riviera Collection, and it is not, nothing in here has worked at all. So I'm putting that, I'm going to put that away. And then, like I said, I need tans and navies. Like there's this inner border here, and this might be good for that because I have a good chunk of it. So I'm going to put that on the side for that inner border. And then the rest in here, what I'm going to do is just, these are all from the Tilda line. These are all a bunch of Tilda fabrics. And I'm going to take out anything that's not, like I'm going to take out the green and the pink. And I don't need the light blue, I don't think. And then over here, these sort of, you know, like I'm not, this one's just not going to fit in there. I did put the ballerina in on one of the other pieces, but like I'm going to keep this out because I do need some little bit lighter shades in places. And then the kind of aqua, I don't need aqua. I don't need the pink, don't need those aquas. So I will, there. So now I'm down to, let's move this out. Okay, so now I'm down to this group here, and then I've got golds, lighter blues. This is the Tilda Jubilee, pieces from the Jubilee. The lighter blues, the creams, the reds. There's a whole stack of the reds. I've got these over here, and then these are, you know, a couple of these are navy, but they, you know, they have a lot of white, and a lot of these pieces are now small. So something like this is I'm just probably going to go ahead and offload it, because like in this, well, there's parts of that that might work, but I think I'm going to have to use things with a lot less pattern on them at this point, or like this one, which I have, you know, a lot of. Okay, so I think those will all go over there too. So it's now down to this stays in here, but it's down to a much smaller group for me to work with. That's very helpful to me, and it might be helpful for you in any kind of project where you've maybe brought a lot of fabric together to begin with, and then as you've made a bunch of things, you now have a much more defined color palette. So you can go through and get rid of the things that just have not been working and don't look like they will really incorporate into the project anymore. So you can get them out of your view and your pile so they're not there cluttering things up. Okay, let's look at the block. There's a lot going on with this block, so I've taken some notes and filmed it here for you so that you can see kind of building the lattice work. So let's go. When doing these strip sets, I had to be really aware because I have directional fabric. This goes this way, this goes this way. And so in the directions, you'll be looking at it like this, sideways, because you're going to subcut into units for the windows and the windows up here. So I just have them laid how I can visualize them. I'll sew them this way so I'm sure everything is straight, and then I can do the subcuts. All of the components are cut, and I will do, and I've, took these and subcut them into units. There's the bigger and the smaller for the windows, and then the upper windows. So to use the bias maker, this is a 1/4 inch bias maker, you're going to take the strip wrong side up, and you will place it in the wide end, and then just push it until it comes out the other end. And with the 1/4 inch, sometimes there it is coming out, but sometimes it won't. So you just take a pin to this slit here where you can see the fabric, and you just push it until it starts to come out. You don't need it to come out very much because you have to press this. So what I'm going to do, and I can't do this one-handed, but I'll be pressing that, just as sticking out, but I will be pulling at the same time. Here, let me just hold it here. But I will be pressing and pulling like this. So it comes like that. But you have to be, pressing down on that. This is starched, great for straight. But you never want to starch it if you're trying to do bias. This is a bias maker. If you're cut on bias and you want to make curves, never ever starch it if you want to make curves. But there's no curves in this. We're doing this straight. So it's been nice to have it starched because it's super crisp. This is the 1/4 inch bias. It's folded under. It's a 1/4 inch wide when it's finished, and it's folded under 1/8 of an inch on each side. And because I starch it in advance, it's very tight. It's staying in position really tight. So what I did was just figure out the center and then offset according to the directions. I ran a line of glue and then put these strips down. That way I can that's these things right here. I know we're upside down, but I'm not flipping it around. So it's these two. So I will be able to, I'm going to top sew those so they can be embedded so these raw edges are gone. I'm just top stitching. I put my applique foot on, my open toe applique foot, that way I can see what I'm stitching, and I reduce my stitch length a little bit, and then there. So like these window panes will then be in the ends will be in the seam, when I sew it into place. There they are. I sewed this upper part, which I'll embroider the word Liberty on, and then I need to just top stitch this across here so that those raw edges can go in those side seams, and then there will be pieces across here that I just don't want to have to fiddle with it matching the seam allowance. I don't want to have to put it here. It would have to be, something like this for the seam. The seam allowance would be right to the edge of it. I'll just put them on top. Oh, I figured out what I'll do. So what I'll do is this is glued down, and then I'm not going to stitch it. So I'll be able to pull this up, lift it up, because it's not, it'll be in the seam. So I'm going to put the seam on like this. But first I'm going to put another one. Even though I don't really need it up here, I need it for covering the seams. So I will glue this one down, but they'll not be stitched. They'll just be glued. Then I'll put these on, so there'll be now a seam here. And then when I have that seam, I can pull up the glued piece here, tuck that under there on both ends, so that it is right on the seam. So it'll be right on the seam, but it'll be tucked under just a little bit to cover the raw edges. And then when I get over to the top part here, I will kind of follow that same process where I would just not stitch it. I'll glue it and then lift it, shove little ends under as I go along. Yes, so we got a plan. You can see right here it is not sewn, and I'll be able to just tuck, see, it's open. So I'll be able to tuck this other piece in up here. There, that guy. I'll cut it. And the same down here. This is not sewn yet. And so I can just tuck it under there. There, see? You can see how it is. So that's the plan for all of these. The one thing I'll do different with the windows is because they actually have the lattice work the whole way up, I sewed these units together. I made a crease here, and then I will glue the lattice all the way up, then I'll be just like I described before, putting lattice across, and I will be not stitching. Well, I could stitch these two on, you know, on all three. These two can be stitched first, but all the horizontals I will leave open so that I can put in the seam, the ones that cover the seam, like this. So there, I left, remember, just showed you that. So I would just do the same repeat process here. I want to show you this point, so I think you can then see better, you know, kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. So there are 3 different sections. All of this is just glued down, nothing sewn. And then I'm doing the sew and flips here for the corners. Next, I will glue these down, so they'll be on both sides, and then putting the top on after that. Later, when I get to that point, there'll be the crossbars here, but these will be next. So that's it. I think you get a whole idea, and I believe with the car and the bus, we have, you know, the taxi and the bus, we have the windows will be done the same way. Here it is. Oh, okay, so I haven't done the embroidery yet on the dark blue part that says Liberty, but I will. I'm going to do it in gold or yellow, you know, something like that. And I'm calling this an old building because there's a little creaks and little wiggles here and there, but that's what an old building's like, right? So there we go. It's all together. I'm so excited. I really love it. And I'm going to try to keep moving forward, probably weekly with London Town blocks, but there might be a week where I, you know, don't get to one for whatever reason. Okay, so the 100 block project. This is a separate project. I have kind of like 4 major projects, I think, going on right now. So this is one that I'm doing through October. I'll do several blocks in the month. And I pulled fabric, and I thought you might enjoy seeing that. So I'm looking at this one. It's super cute. They're small enough, they'll fit into this square. And then I thought, well, what if I do, this is darker, and then do all of these as light? So there's like 4 different fabrics in here. Yeah, there's a lot. So I don't have a lot of light background things with green. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll just do something else. So I went and pulled this grouping because one of my students gave me this years ago, and I've kept it. It's so darn cute, and that would work because it's right scale. And then these are all more tonal, and so this plus sign would read, you know, much more tonal. So that's an option. But I want to look for some other light background base ones and do something a little different. So I pulled out the background, white-based backgrounds, and I did find this, which is gorgeous. I'm going to have to keep this with the greens, and I found the frogs. But because they're very skinny strips, this one won't work. So that means I have these 3, but I don't have a 4th one, unless I can just find something super light base, like I have this here, which is kind of the wrong green, but maybe if and I have this, which is also kind of the wrong green, but I could do them as maybe the skinniest part. I kind of want to try it, so I think maybe I'll do this leopard, because, you know, everybody needs green leopard fabric. Sorry, not leopard, zebra. Animal skin, striped animal skin, and fur. There we go. And I have this one too, which is also olivey. So I could remove that and do, you know, I could even do just an all light block. I don't know. I think it needs darker in here, but maybe not that one. Maybe this one. I don't know. I could get the swans. Put a swan in there. What is on here? What is on there? See, there's novelties. There's some little kids. Hold on. Ooh, so darling. I do have, this is so much fun. Do I have 70 interesting prints? So I could have one for each block with an interesting print? We'll see. Okay, so I'll see if I can, fussy cat. Oh, maybe the 2 sweeties here. Aw, 2 little friends. That might be a good one. Or the little girl bouncing the ball. There's one on the scooter too. Okay. So I am going to not do that one. They'll be saved. And then this will be with a light center. So it's just kind of different, which I think will be fun. Here is block 2 all cut. You know, I think I'm going to really love this. It's going to be very light, but I think it'll be great contrast to have some with sort of the image, more, you know, more the light fabrics, although I don't have as many light with green markings on them. But this is super fun. I had to fussy cut this a bit because the green, as you can see, is not, you know, it's not very wide. Even though this is really narrow, it still isn't that wide. But I took mostly yellow, so because I'm bringing yellow in, and then that way that aqua I think will get right, from a lot of this will get right in the seam allowance.
3 blocks done, and I did find quite a few fun prints. You can see here each one of these has some fun prints in them, little crabs in the center one, and I will next week show you how many fun prints on green, and then I'm going to actually go through the yellow and see if I can find an additional few in there that, you know, can kind of add to it so that every block will have some kind of a fun print. I want to remind you that this kit is a giveaway from the Fat Quarter Shop. The flower stand, isn't it gorgeous? It is just so beautiful. So you have to go to the link that I give you in the description box in the pinned post over at my website and enter on a specific article. And then one of you can win it. And there's also a big discount right now on the kit. So if you are interested in just getting the kit, you get a discount right now. So be sure you go over and get those codes and check it all out. So busy time getting this building done. Oh my goodness. It was a lot of parts, but I really did enjoy kind of the sort of intrigue of making it work, of figuring it out. That was a lot of fun. All right, so I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.